This is CBC Vancouver News.
We're here to show that we're still here standing with Ukraine, for Ukraine.
On the eve of the third anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, British Columbians draped their backs in blue and yellow, wishing for peace. Plus,
we pray for his speedy recovery. I hope he will be fully recovering from his pneumonia.
in BC and around the world, prayers are pouring in for Pope Francis as he battles early signs of kidney failure and pneumonia. And
we need to capitalize and make sure that those nurses are looking at BC.
amid Canada-U.S. tensions, BC looks to recruit nurses and doctors south of the border to help fix the province's healthcare system. Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Yasmine Ghania. We begin in Rome, where Pope Francis remains in hospital in critical condition. The Vatican says he's dealing with early signs of kidney failure and pneumonia. As Jennifer Yoon reports, doctors say the Pope's condition is touch and go.
A desperate prayer for Pope Francis in his hometown cathedral where he led a congregation for 15 years. I'm feeling sad because everything that happens to him feels like it's happening to me, says this parishioner. The 88-year-old Pope remains in critical condition, battling double pneumonia in hospital for over a week now, and asking Catholics for their prayers.
Papa Francesco.
And they are praying at the Vatican, in Nairobi, Kenya, and here in Canada too, home to more than 10 million Catholics.
I'm crying. He's our Papa. Like we love him.
I think he's opened the church a lot, made a lot of reforms, attracted a lot of young people back into the Catholic faith.
This Innu man says he returned to the church, in part because the Pope showed such remorse over residential schools.
Coming to Canada and apologizing was a big part of the reconciliation, I would say.
Doctors are being guarded about the Pope's chances of recovery. He hasn't had any new respiratory crises since Saturday, but blood tests show early signs of kidney failure. In New York, a cardinal saying what officials in Rome aren't.
Our Holy Father, Pope Francis, is in very, very fragile health and probably close to death.
Others say he still could recover. He's alert, well-oriented, and getting medication.
They have him on antibiotics or treatment, whatever the infectious organism is. It could be flu, it could be COVID, it could be a bacterial pneumonia.
It'll take some time to see if those treatments will turn the tide. Catholics around the world hoping their prayers can help too. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Members of Vancouver's Catholic community say they're also praying for Pope Francis. Some who attended Mass Sunday spoke about his legacy.
He brought some changes in the faith and the Catholic, and some upgrades needed to be done. If he's gone, we'll miss him.
Everyone come in this world for a reason. I think he have done too much to this, especially to Catholic community.
He means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of changes in Catholic faith. So that's all I can say, and I love him.
I would say he's very inclusive about talking about everyone. He doesn't put out anyone else, right? So all of his prayers, everyone else is there, no matter who they are, what their status is.
Monday marks 3 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. World leaders are preparing to attend a peace summit there. It comes as Russia unleashed more than 200 drones on Ukraine overnight. Chris Brown has more from Kyiv.
Hardly anyone in Ukraine believes Vladimir Putin wants peace, especially after Russia launched the largest drone attack of the war overnight on Kyiv and other cities. But Donald Trump claims he does. And so on Sunday, President Volodymyr Zelensky simultaneously tried to repair his strained relationship with the U.S. president while laying down some new red lines. We are partners, and I want Trump to be on our side, said Zelensky, after Trump called him a dictator. But Zelensky also said Ukraine would not agree to Trump's demand to hand over a reported $500 billion in rights to critical minerals for previous U.S. military assistance Trump now considers a loan. In simple words, it's a loan with 100% interest, said Zelensky. When the U.S. sells weapons to Israel, Qatar, or Saudi Arabia, do they earn 100% profit? The back and forth over the terms of peace is being followed closely by injured soldiers, like Sergei. A Russian artillery shell ripped apart his leg. 15 centimeters of bone is missing. I became a disabled veteran so that our country and my child can live and feel safe, he said, rather than waiting for our neighbor to attack again. Of course, we need security guarantees. Another soldier from this Kyiv rehab clinic, who goes by the moniker Historian, had his ankle shattered by a Russian drone in December. Trump is mistaken, and Putin will definitely lie to him, he said. But if Trump pulls U.S. support, he says it will have far-reaching consequences. This clinic is run by an American volunteer, Hushan White, who's lived in Ukraine for 30 years. She says many here feel despair at what she sees as U.S. pressure tactics.
The manipulation and the lies and just how Ukrainians are being used for the gain of other people.
Monday, on the third anniversary of Russia's invasion, Zelensky will host a major gathering of European leaders here in Kyiv, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is expected to join them. Chris Brown, CBC News, in Kyiv.
Hundreds gathered across BC to mark the grim anniversary. Saurabh Sandhu brings us the story of one Vancouver documentary maker who recently came back from Ukraine.
Maxim Khomenko, a Vancouver resident, was in Ukraine just a week ago, documenting the destruction caused by the war.
My family's from Ukraine, so I have relatives that I wanted to see. But more importantly, I was filming a documentary that I'm wanting to share with the Western world.
Khomenko says during his time in Ukraine, he worked as a volunteer with the military, delivering humanitarian aid and supplies, and getting a closer look at the lives of those affected by the war.
Civilians are tired because no one has slept for 3 years. Your schedule, your daily activities get disrupted because bombs are dropping, because Russia is actively aiming for civilian targets.
On the eve of the third anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the documentary maker joined hundreds of other Ukrainians in Vancouver.
It's very important that we gather and remind people that the war is not over.
We're here to show that we're still here standing with Ukraine, for Ukraine.
The office of the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he spoke with the U.S. President Donald Trump about the war. A statement from Trump's office says both leaders hope to see an end to the war. It comes at a time when the U.S. has been sending increasingly mixed signals about its support for Ukraine. American officials have been meeting with their Russian counterparts in an attempt to broker a peace deal.
Russia feels like it cannot be stopped. Russia's walking all over the United States presidency right now. I promise you that Russian adrenaline will not stop with just Ukraine. It will go forward.
People in northern BC are echoing similar concerns.
I see what Trump is doing. I'm disappointed about his attitude towards Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Trudeau is expected to visit his country on Monday to take part in a summit on Ukrainian peace and security. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Vancouver.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation is calling on BC to reinstate its municipal watchdog after what it's calling a series of spending scandals. Among other examples, it's pointing to the North Shore wastewater treatment plant that's years behind schedule and more than 5 times over budget.
David Eby needs to step up, reappoint the Auditor General for local government so taxpayers can have the accountability we deserve from Metro Vancouver. Taxpayers are sick and tired of waiting for the change we need to see at Metro Vancouver. These kinds of half measures, finding a few cents worth of savings on this giant budget, that is not good enough.
The Federation says bringing back the Auditor General for local governments would restore public trust and help control spending. BC got rid of the role long opposed by local governments in 2020. Amid tensions between Canada and the U.S., British Columbia says it's trying to recruit healthcare workers living across the border to help fix the province's healthcare system. As Michelle Morton reports, healthcare officials are applauding the move.
Family doctor Alexa Lindley moved to Vancouver from Seattle nearly 2 years ago after her husband found work here in BC.
I think when I put in my application or started the application process to get my license in around February, it took until November to get my license.
That process now being addressed by the province. In a throne speech marking the start of the BC legislative session on Tuesday, the province committed to attracting healthcare professionals living south of the border and to working with regulatory colleges to speed up licensing systems.
I think that's very welcome. I think that would have been really helpful to have a more streamlined, transparent, and faster system to go through.
The province says it will also be working to attract Canadian healthcare workers who have left BC.
We obviously would welcome home any Canadian healthcare worker that's in the States right now and wants to come back to British Columbia, whether they're a doctor or a nurse or other healthcare worker. Now seems like a really good time.
The move welcomed by healthcare professionals working in an overwhelmed system.
In British Columbia, on any given day, we're almost 6,000. We have almost 6,000 nursing vacancies, and that's before we implement minimum nurse-patient ratio. If we can attract nurses from the U.S., I say, bring it on.
The province's push to add more U.S.-trained healthcare workers comes as U.S. President Donald Trump's administration moves to cut back federal health programs and withdraw the country from the World Health Organization. One recruiter says she is seeing an increased interest among healthcare workers in the U.S. to come to Canada.
Although I don't have exact numbers, there has been an increased number of physicians who are interested in moving to this area because of the political landscape.
I can think of at least 3 colleagues from the U.S. who have reached out to me to at least kind of inquire about how the process would be for them.
Healthcare came out as a major issue in the provincial election, with ER closures and a lack of family doctors top of mind for many people in BC. Michelle Morton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Local researchers are hoping to better understand how avian flu is transmitted and how it evolves through a new grant from Genome BC. This comes after the province saw one case of H5N1 avian flu last fall that put a 13-year-old in hospital for weeks.
And this grant from Genome BC is going to be able to enable us to be able to have those tools ready to go when and if the next case shows up.
Nearly $1.5 million will go towards 2 projects that will focus on wind transmission, blood tests, and wastewater surveillance. The BC Centre for Disease Control will lead the studies. The funding will last for 1 year. Researchers are hoping to have findings before wild bird migrations start in the fall. The Rugby Sevens tournament has wrapped up in Vancouver. The Canadian women's team scored a victory over the U.S. Sunday, capping off a weekend of action-packed games. Here's some of the highlights.
Rugby's awesome. It is the place to be.
I don't usually look like this.
We've shown the world that we can host international games, whether it be the Olympics, whether it be the Women's Soccer World Cup. We've obviously got the other World Cup coming up. We've shown that we can host these big games.
still ahead. Thousands of U.S. federal workers could be fired this week as Elon Musk continues his purge on the federal government. We'll tell you about his latest ultimatum and about a BC man who's inviting Americans to hang out in his Vancouver Island city. Stay with us.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
U.S. federal workers are bracing for more firings after receiving an emailed ultimatum. Elon Musk is demanding workers list their accomplishments for the week or lose their jobs. Katie Simpson has the details.
With every passing day, Elon Musk appears to become even more emboldened, comfortable enough for this unusual display. His purge of the federal government now expanding and intensifying, he says, by order of the president. Announcing on social media Saturday, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. Hours later, millions of workers reportedly receiving a notice saying, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. The deadline to respond set for Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern.
I don't think that's a big deal, but people are saying, oh, you shouldn't do those kind of things.
Republicans on the Sunday political talk show circuit offered up plenty of support for Musk and the cuts.
He is literally the best entrepreneur we've had in our lifetime, and he's doing it for free, and he's taking an unbiased look saying these programs make no sense. Let's save the taxpayer dollars and get our house in order.
But Musk's latest order is being met with some resistance. Employees at the FBI, the State Department, and the Department of Defense are being told not to respond to the email for now.
It is illegal, and the actions he's taking are illegal, and we need to shut down this illegal operation.
As fired employees clear out their desks, more lawsuits and legal challenges are expected. All of it prompting one Republican to plead for some humanity.
These are real people. These are real lives. These are mortgages. It's a false narrative to say we have to cut and you have to be cruel to do it as well. We can do both.
Thousands more people are expected to be fired this week. The Pentagon is the next big target. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
A Vancouver Island man is inviting Americans looking for an escape from their country to visit his city. As Liam Britton reports, thousands of people say they'll take him up on his offer.
Hey, Americans who support Canadians, I have an idea.
Todd Maffin's idea was not a big one, but it's getting big interest.
What if we picked a day in like a month and a half or so where all of you come up here to Vancouver Island? I'm not kidding.
Maffin really likes his hometown of Nanaimo and wants to share it with American visitors seeking an escape from their country.
We have incredible outdoor activities here. We have hiking. We have some of the best brew pubs in the world.
And since he posted that video last week,
2,000 of them said that they would come. My personal goal is 10% of that. If 200 people come on a single weekend, that will have a noticeable effect on our city's economy.
Maffin is in digital marketing and a business journalist, and he's a former radio host and producer, including with CBC.
Hi, Future Todd here.
He makes lots of TikTok videos, like how to avoid U.S. products as cross-border relations worsen.
My comment section was filled more with Americans than Canadians, which I wasn't expecting, and almost all of them were saying, yes, boycott our products. We don't like this either.
That's part of what led to his invitation idea.
I thought like maybe half a dozen or so would show up, and my wife and I would take them out for dinner or lunch or whatever. In an hour, we had like maybe 100 people that were like, I'll do this. I'm in California. I will come out for this.
Nanaimo's mayor is applauding the effort.
Canada's a welcoming country. Canadians are good people. They don't deserve the treatment from the White House, and I think many Americans very much disagree with their president, so this is an opportunity to build a stronger relationship between our peoples and ignore the political leadership or lack of it in Washington.
Maffin's not sure what turnout will materialize, but hopes people can enjoy everything Nanaimo has to offer.
Some people are coming just for the walking tour of Nanaimo bars.
And from April 25th to 27th, no one is barred from Nanaimo. Liam Britton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Here is a live shot of Revelstoke, BC. I'll have your full forecast next.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
Check out CBC News BC, your local streaming channel. It's a free ad-supported TV channel that's available 24/7, delivering breaking news, including weather updates, daily headlines, and sharing stories that matter to British Columbians. Stream your favorite CBC programs like The Early Edition, BC Today, and On the Coast. CBC News BC is available on Roku, LG, and Samsung smart devices.
Time now for a look at our BC-wide forecast. Starting with tonight, in Dease Lake -7 with a chance of flurries or rain showers. In Terrace +7 and periods of rain. A chance of flurries in Prince George and -1. In Williams Lake 0 with a few flurries or rain showers. It's a similar story in Golden and +3 with a few showers in Kamloops and Kelowna. Over on the island, periods of rain in Victoria and Tofino ending overnight. Tomorrow, some sun for about half of the province. In Dease Lake, +2 with periods of light snow, +5 and periods of rain in Terrace, a mix of sun and cloud, and +6 in Fort St. John. Mostly sunny in Kamloops with a high of +12. A chance of rain or flurries in Golden in the morning and early afternoon, and Cranbrook is expected to get similar conditions. Meanwhile, in Tofino and Victoria, +11 with rain expected to start around noon. Taking a look at Metro Vancouver, well, at least it's consistent. Rain throughout the week and some warm temperatures. Fan Expo wrapped up in Vancouver Sunday. We caught up with fans at the convention to see what they cosplayed as and if the event lived up to the hype.
My name is Jacob. I'm dressed as No Face from Spirited Away.
My name is Mackenzie, and I'm dressed as Ayla Secura from Star Wars.
Steve Lewis, I am a Ghostbuster.
Joshua Devin Rockwell, I am a professional Ghostbuster.
Aaron Lutch, Ghostbuster. I'm Raphael Arbab, and I'm dressed as Mario.
Okay, my name is Corey Decker, and I'm dressed as a Xenomorph, which is the alien from the Aliens franchise.
Excuse me, I'm Elsa, but my daddy's name is actually and I'm a queen.
Really great. This is not my first time being at Fan Expo, and I'm always happy to come here every time.
People from all over the world and even parts of Canada come in here and be like, what's going on this weekend? And they end up coming and like checking it out too as like a weekend event. So I think that's a really cool thing Fan Expo Vancouver does. It brings a lot of people together.
My God, it's been great. There's so many nice people. There's so many inventive people. Well, all the fandoms coming together is just great.
And that is your late news for this Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. For news anytime, visit our website, cbc.ca/BC. Your next local news is on The Early Edition on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 5:30. Good night.